All right, the chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. For Mr. Anderberg, Mr. Paradowski, and Ms. Moyers, I heard from my local manufacturers, the stakeholders in Tampa and the Tampa Bay area, that workforce development is one of the biggest problems in this sector. I know many of my colleagues have already highlighted this, and we have the vocational training, the schools there. We have career academies, which I worked on in the legislature. So in other words, if there's an area of need in the community, we focus on that particular area of need through the career academies in the high schools. And of course, we have AM skills, we have P-Tech, and we have Marchman, and all the community colleges. They do an outstanding job, but we need more. This is everywhere I go, I hear this. But can you tell me about some of the other impediments, because we did cover this, to growth in the manufacturing sector? So this is for Mr. Anderberg. You can go first, please.
You said impediments to growth in the manufacturing sector?
Yeah. Well, besides the workforce.
Well, I think, well, that is our biggest impediment at the moment. But I think right now with the, it's tough to say there are impediments because of what's taking place the last year and a half, quite frankly. The change in tax policy, the change in regulatory, the trade situation. You know, we're going full blast right now, and I don't see where there's an impediment for manufacturing now solely except for the lack of people.
Good. So you recommend we focus on the workforce issue? Yeah?
I think if workforce is probably is the most important thing that Congress could work on to help us. You know, again, allowing us to keep our capital, the money we earn. You know, I don't wake up in the morning and think how I'm going to spend my money on a boat or something else. I think about how I'm going to improve my operation, what I'm going to do to help my people, grow my business. That's what we do with our money. And I just want to thank Congress and this administration for allowing that to happen. And it's everyone is investing again. It's incredible.
Very good. Mr. Paradowski, any more besides the workforce issue? Any other impediments?
Yeah, absolutely. I often give my 4 legs of the stool that drive private sector growth speech, so maybe I'll inject it right now. And speak of logistics, energy, workforce, although I wasn't supposed to say that word, and commerce-friendly government. So it's really the economic, how friendly an environment is as far as the government. So I'll use a real-time example, Foxconn making its investment in the southeastern part of Wisconsin. You know, their focal points were those 3 things: logistics, being in proximity to Milwaukee and Chicago, 2 international airports, energy, workforce is certainly a thing, but the economic environment that the government created in the state of Wisconsin specifically, for them to come there and compete. And really the argument, or maybe the fundamental difference in a lot of the folks in this room is, the sun rises in the east and free markets do what they do. If you can't compete, I'll cite something that Mr. Stetner said, highest tech, not the lowest cost. Maybe there's some markets where you can be that, but I know that if I wanted to go into the 4K LED TV market, if I can't find a way to make one for $350 for a 50-inch, I don't have a product. Markets do what markets do. And as a global economy in the U.S. role in that, we have to compete on a cost and performance basis, or else we go out of business. Companies go out of business every day. And those are the 4 key things. The impact of tax reform is a real impact. Look at GDP growth. Anybody who says that tax reform didn't have an impact is denying a key factor of GDP growth. But one of the things that's a parachute on the car right now is certainly workforce, but you asked me not to talk about that. The regulatory environment, government needs to be an ally partner. If government is really focused on helping the private sector, changing the educational system in K-12 so that many pathways are equally valued, that will go a long way. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but legalized immigration, I think, is a big piece. Half of our workforce is in the last trimester of their career between 50 and 65. We need to add bodies. GDP is a function of output and efficiency, or growth, GDP growth, and we need to add workforce, we need to add efficiency.
Very good. Ms. Moyers?
I think I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I think that the bottom line is just that the workforce is our biggest issue. Of course, personally in our company, we've had cash flow issues in the past. We're not having them right now because of the current climate, because of the tax reform, because of deregulation, and I think more of that is going to be helpful. I guess the only thing that I can think of is making it cheaper for businesses to run and do the things they do. So anything that's cost saving to us. One of the biggest expenses we've had in the past few years has been healthcare costs. We cover healthcare for our employees. They pay a very small percentage. And we don't want to make them pay more. And we have no intention of taking it away, no matter what it costs us, because we feel it's very value added to our employees, and it's part of the reason they stay with us. So that is one of the things that rising cost is a big burden for small business owners.
All right, thank you. I have a couple more questions, but I'll yield back. But thank you very much for that information. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. The gentleman yields back, and they're looking